3, go.
Okay, we are joined by IK Enemkpali. He played for the Bills 2015, linebacker, defensive end. We're going to parse that in a moment. He was drafted by the Jets 2014, and glad to have him here. IK, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from my home in Pflugerville, Texas.
Excellent. Central Time. I knew that.
Pflugerville, Texas. So, IK, I'm a big fan of Texas high school football. When I got promoted to the football department, Wade Phillips tasked me with reading Friday Night Lights, the book. And it really got me kind of interested in what was the Permian Panthers or the Permian. Yeah. So I really had no idea about Texas high school football before that. And then I watched Friday Night Lights. I watched the show. Maybe we could start there with you, and could you take us back to your days, growing up in Texas, playing high school football, and maybe explaining to some people up here in Western New York what Texas high school football is like?
It's like something you really never seen. You got to see it to believe it. It's a culture. It starts from when you're really, really young, and they inundate you into that culture. But I mean, it's Friday Night Lights. There's really nothing like it. I mean, I've lived in Louisiana, I lived in New York, and did the high school things, but it's a culture, man, and they really kind of start breeding you from a young age, from the amount of intensity and passion that they instill in you, right? It's just a thing. You have to be part of it. You know what I mean? If you're not playing football, like, what are you doing? It's really the question. What are you doing with your life?
So at what age did you move to Texas? How long had you been there before high school?
So I was born in Austin. I was born in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Austin, Texas. And I moved to Pflugerville when I was maybe 8 or 9 or something like that, which is Pflugerville is just a suburb of Austin, like 10 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away. And but I was a late bloomer. I started football kind of late. I started football at the age of, I would say, 12. And, I'm a first generation American. Both my parents are immigrants from Nigeria. So football they didn't grow up watching football. They didn't really understand the game. So I didn't grow up like other kids who they had a football team and a basketball team that their father had, and they just were diehard fans. I didn't have any of that growing up. So it's when I kind of started getting around my friends and things like that. And that's when I started kind of picking up on the football. And I got into football because I got suspended from a bus. I got suspended from the school bus, and I didn't have a ride to school. So I said, I'll join the football team. And because it practices in the morning, and I didn't have to tell my dad, it would be a smooth transition.
That's amazing. That's a great story. So when you're there, are you treated like a celebrity if you're, a starter on the football team in Texas? Like,
You
is that
get whatever you want. You get whatever. Yeah.
And in high school, I know you played both sides of the ball, so I presume you played linebacker, defensive end. But what did you play on offense if you did?
I was more like an athlete. I was able to run routes. I was able to catch the ball, but they used me more like a running back, fullback. So we had this thing called what was the package called? We had a package called, God dang, it was me, Alex Okafor. Y'all know Alex?
Yeah.
Alex Okafor. He was on. It was me, Alex, Tyrus Thompson. I believe he played in the NFL too as well. And there was another person, but we had this big package where we come in 3rd and short, 4th and short. They'll put us in there, but running back, I consider myself an athlete.
Did you feel as much pressure playing high school football as you did the NFL?
No,
I
didn't. No. It was I didn't feel as much pressure. So Pflugerville high school football, I would consider ourselves a powerhouse, right? Like, we had a great reputation. We were expected to do well, right? We were always expected to do well, but the pressure you feel in the NFL is a little bit different. But the passion, the camaraderie, the fun that we had on the field was like a different level compared to NFL. It's a different level. So that pressure wasn't really there. I was going out there with my friends and balling.
Yeah, you had to discover athletic ability that might have even surprised yourself. I know I was reading about you've got an athletic family. I see that your sister played in the WNBA, and so it had to be fun to see that kind of play out.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I had a call.
No problem. No, that's okay. We can edit that out.
Yeah.
think you said something about my sister.
Yeah, I read that that she played in the WNBA. So yeah, you got a family full of athletes.
Yeah, and my younger brother was also talented too as well. He got injured early. My brother's really good in football. Yeah.
So you're a star at Pflugerville. Tell us about like recruiting, deciding to go to college. When did you know that you could take this beyond high school? Was it obvious pretty quickly that you were going to be, a D1 football player? And then, kind of when did you think the NFL might be attainable?
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I always knew, right? I always knew that because I had the heart in me. I had a heart. No one can see because I was always an undersized DN. I was always undersized a little bit. I was small. I was kind of small for the position, but I had a huge heart. And it was funny. I think it's Joe Green. Don't quote, but it was Joe Green. I believe I met him at Louisiana Tech. They were recruiting. I was a younger player, and I met him. I was like, I introduced myself to him. He's like, "What position do you play?" I told him I said I play DN. He looked at me and said, "You're kind of short for a DN." I said, "But I have a big ass heart." And he said, "That's right, kid. That's right." So I've always had that chip on my shoulder. Always had a heart. So I always knew that I had the ability and I had the heart to go to play this game at a high level. But my recruiting didn't reflect that. So I didn't get. I mean, I only had one offer coming out of Pflugerville High School, and that was Louisiana Tech University. So it was an easy decision for me to pick them, right? Um, so I didn't. My recruiting just wasn't there, But I had a great senior year. I had a decent junior year too as well. I kind of turned it on during the playoffs when we went to state, but my senior year was great. But for whatever reason, I just recruiting just wasn't there for me.
Yeah, it worked out for you though. So then 4 years at Louisiana Tech. What are some of the highlights there? You were Fred Dean Defensive Player of the Year your junior season, first team All Conference USA, the Willie Rofe Lineman of the Year. Now that's an interesting award. He was an offensive lineman, right? But he must have just been so great that it was either one, right?
Right. I don't know where that came from, but I take it.
Yeah. What was it like playing like at Louisiana Tech? Not, it's not Ohio State, it's not Alabama. Did you feel like your path to the NFL was still open there? Like at what point did you think, hey, you know what, I have a real shot to go, to the next level?
I feel like for me, it was the same. As soon as I stepped on campus, it was just a matter of time. It's just timing for me. As soon as I stepped on campus, I knew like, hey, because there's people that came before me who made it to the NFL. I was like, well, shit, if they can do it, I can do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I stepped on campus, I knew I had an opportunity to. It was just a matter of timing. When is that time? When is my time going to be? So I always knew, I had that confidence and knew that if I put in all the work, I knew that I can make it. So I would say as soon as I stepped on campus, I knew that I was going to make something of myself here.
That's an interesting gauge when you talk about, someone before you that made it. We talked to Lee Evans at Wisconsin. Chris Chambers was there, and he kept saying he compared himself to them, maybe not body type and everything, but production wise. And he's like, I'm going to follow. And they did kind of have similar careers.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have a player that I said like I'm gonna follow. My dad always taught me, compete against yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Always compete against yourself. So I never had a player that I was gonna follow, but there was players that came before me that there are certain aspects of the game that I liked, and I would say, okay, I would kind of take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that, and add it into my repertoire.
How did your parents enjoy learning about American football kind of along your journey?
It was tough, and all my Nigerians and all my first generations out there that will understand, like trying to get a foreigner to understand, because they come to this country and they just trying to just kind of better themselves, survive, better themselves, and try and make something of this. That's it. They're not really interested in sports, entertainment. All that is kind of like a waste of time to them. My parents, I think my mom was trying to get me to quit sports up until I got drafted, until she felt like I can actually make something of myself. I was at Tech and she was like, if you want to quit, just quit, follow the school route, So my dad, he slowly came around, but my mom just was not, she was just not there.
Yeah.
Did she ever get there?
Yeah, as soon as I got drafted, shoot, it was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well, let's do it. So
Yeah, that's a fascinating story. I mean, one of the favorite basketball players of all time that I ever watched, Akeem Olajuwon. I know he came over to the States and knew nothing about basketball, but then I guess he was like a really good soccer player. Even at 6'11", he had this amazing footwork, and someone saw him and said, "Hey, you should try basketball." And the guy's in the Hall of Fame. Like yours, I see. I love the story about your parents too, and how they were kind of behind the curve, just trying to make something of their life and your family's life, not fully understanding what this opportunity could and would mean for you.
right, correct.
Are there a lot of Nigerian born or first generation players? Obviously, I think people would remember Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare, who killed the Bills in the early 90s. Were there, did you have like role models or guys that you could talk to when it came time to maybe be drafted or whatever? That is there like a community of guys like that?
No, I would say, Alex Okafor, he's also a first generation. His dad's from Nigeria. But, me and Alex were kind of in the same boat. Alex, he was a year before me. But I would say no one really in my community has made it as far as I have in the sports, even to this day. No one in the community has really made it to that level. So everything I was experiencing was really new. The closest one where I would say I had a cousin, he played at UT. His name was Martin Egwago. And he was like my big brother. And so I would lean on him for maybe advice. I watched people from afar, like Brian Orakpo. I watched him. He was another first generation born Nigerian who made it really far, and I really loved his game. I tried to steal as much as I could from his game, but so I kind of watched him from afar too as well. But I really just leaned on my parents, people, some of my friends that people at Tech that went before me. I kind of just leaned on their experience, but no one within the community or that really made as far as I did could help me out.
Yeah, no, that's great. So leading up to the draft and then draft day, how did all that play out for you? What do you remember about that?
Leading up to the draft, it's a little nerve wracking, you just, cause you kind of hear things. I felt like my agent was telling me, hey, you're just kind of on that bubble. You never know, like you did everything you could. You had great workouts, you interviewed well, you have good tape, so you kind of have an opportunity, but at the same time, you just don't know. Right. So I just took it as I was just ecstatic to be, in the running, right? Because I knew it was like, hey, all I need to do is just get an opportunity. I just need an opportunity, right? So I don't care how it comes, let me just get an opportunity. So that was my mindset going into it, whether if I get drafted or free agent, just give me an opportunity on the field. I'm gonna go in there and I'm just gonna hunt some shit down and I'm do what I need to do, right? So going into it, it was that was my mindset. My mindset was, wherever the cards lay, I'm gonna take it for what it is, and I'm gonna, as long as I get an opportunity, I'm gonna bust my ass when I get my opportunity.
And then you get the call.
What was draft day like itself? By then, was it like a couple day process? Like, are you sitting around waiting? Are you doing something else?
Yeah. No, the first, I knew I wasn't going day one, so I was kind of relaxing, chilling day one, and then I think I went day three. Day three, just kind of sitting, waiting, and I got my family there, close family, parents, got a couple cousins there, and then next door, I had my homeboys were next door doing what they do, right? So I was kind of back and forth. I had like, two festivities, let's call it festivities going on.
The adult table and the kids table, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I was just kind of going back and forth, just it was like a regular day. So, but I was next door, literally in the garage. We were just talking, interacting with one another, and I get the call. It was Rex Ryan. I just jumped up. I was like, oh shit! I just jumped up, went over to my parents' house, and he was just telling me that they're gonna draft me, and I was just like, okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I'm excited. And then he was like, all right, buddy, don't sound too excited now. You know how Rex is. And but I was ecstatic on the inside. I was ecstatic. And then my name came across the table. My mom at this point was so nervous she couldn't walk. She couldn't walk anymore. You know, she literally could not walk anymore. And she was just sitting on the chair, and then my name came across the screen, and it's like, it was like surreal, because, I started crying, I started tearing up. And the reason why I was tearing up was because, I've watched the draft at my house for years. Since I started playing football, I was watching the draft at the same living room on the same TV for years, seeing people's name. I'm like, man, that shit looks cool, man. know, and my house was literally my gym. We couldn't afford going to like all these extracurricular activities and these special gyms and coaches and work. So my house was my gym. Like, I used to do everything. Like, I used to do my house was literally my gym. Everything you can think of in the gym, I was doing it at home. Just a lot of, so I remember like spending summers, and I would discipline myself, and I would say, hey, I'm not sitting on a couch. Anytime the commercials hit, it's push-ups, sit-ups every single day. The tiles were like my agility ladder. I would make dips out of chairs. I would curl chairs, like just doing all kinds of stuff, within the house, running up and down the stairs. Like I was doing, because one of my favorite running backs, Marshall Faulk, said that what he did during the off season was he would run stadiums, and that's how he got his agility to where it was at. So I'm like, God damn it, I'm finna run stadiums all day. I'm sorry if I don't know.
No, we're good.
No,
we're good.
yeah,
This is on YouTube. We're all good, man.
Okay.
We love the passion.
So I'm running stairs like nobody's business, right? So I just, so I remember just going to different rooms, just walking around like kind of nervous and just pacing up and down, my heart beating. I'm like, damn, I did it. I did it. And I'm going to different rooms and I'm just reminiscing. Like, I remember I was doing like sit-ups here all morning. I remember I would just go up and down these stairs. I remember getting ready for track meets, and I would use we had a hallway that was kind of long, and I would use this to work on my starts and my get-offs and all kinds of things, right? I remember punching this wall over and over again, trying to, you know what I mean? Just walking around the house, just remembering all the work I was doing.
A ball of energy and passion.
Had you ever seen the Rocky movies? You ever?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like any opportunity you had. But so I imagine you get the Jets, I guess OTAs. Physically, you got to feel, given your track record and everything you're just saying here, like that was not going to be an issue for you. Physically, you were ready. It's just a matter of how they were going to use you, right? And I know Josh has been in coaching too, and different rooms. Like, how did they sort out defensive line or defensive line linebacker? They just watched you in camp and figured out what to do at that point.
Coming in, they kind of told me, hey, we want to put you at outside linebacker. They kind of already told me, we want to put you outside linebacker, but you'll play some end. But we're going to try you out at both and kind of see how you do. So that was kind of the thing. So I officially came in as an outside linebacker, but I knew that for for sub packages and for pass rushing situations that they'll be putting me at end. But I knew. So I didn't learn, like at Tech. I was a 4-3 DN. I was a 4-3 DN through and through. I'm a D lineman. That's just how I was coached, right? So I wasn't used to dropping in coverage. I didn't know anything about coverages and guarding receivers and things like that. I didn't know any. So I learned all that in the NFL. But I was a DN. I knew I can play DN. But coming into the Jets, I knew, like, hey, whatever the coach puts me at, because the way I was trained with Coach Agan, hey, whatever the coach says, you go there and you do 100 miles per hour, and you do your damnedest to make sure you can do well at it. So I didn't say anything, didn't gripe about it, just went to work.
Now, in the NFL now, if you look through like a roster of the coaching staff, there's 23, 24 coaches. There's an outside linebacker coach. There's, all of these specialties. When you were there 2014, 2015, 2016, did you sit with the linebackers like for film? So was there so when you played rush end, or you're the 4-3 end, or a package on the third down, did you feel like you had to learn more than the average linebacker or D end?
I did because I would bounce back and forth between both rooms, linebacker room and the defensive room. So yes, you get everything at once. So you go into the linebacker rooms, you're getting everything. You go to the defensive line room, you're getting everything. And with Rex's defense, it was super complicated for me. But over time, you kind of get used to it. But in the beginning, my rookie year, that shit was tough. I mean, there are certain times I'm like, certain packages, certain plays, depending on who motions and down and distance and formation they come out in, you can check to like 6 different things, right? So so it was really super complicated for me in the beginning. Now when I met Rex again in Buffalo, the shit really slowed down quite a bit. But yes, I was trying to take all that in the beginning. It was challenging.
Oh, by the way, throw in some special teams, right?
Oh yeah, goddamn, yeah.
I'm guessing that wasn't the highlight of your day, playing special teams.
Nah, special teams was not, because I never had to do that. At Tech, I didn't have to play special teams, and in high school, I didn't have to play special teams because I was part of the starting role. You know, I didn't have to do any of that. You know,
wow.
so,
did you play all 4 phases of special teams?
No, I didn't. Hold on, wait, kickoff. Yeah, actually, I did. I just did. I wasn't on the field goal team.
Okay, so but kick, return, punt, return. You were on all 4 of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the people in Buffalo, people listening to this podcast, I think there's this fascination with Rex Ryan as a personality, as a coach. There's that famous Hard Knocks episode where he tells everybody to go to eat a goddamn snack when he's with the Jets. Can you take us in a meeting room with Rex and just two different times? A, after a good win, and B, after a shitty performance, and maybe just kind of explain to people what it's like just watching him speak.
You know you're gonna laugh. You just know you're gonna laugh. Like Rex is always gonna say something, no matter if it's good or bad. Whether you had a good performance, bad performance as a team, I'm talking. Rex is gonna say something off the wall is gonna make you laugh, right? And Rex is a coach. Like I don't see Rex doing any other profession but anything in sports. Like he's a coach, you know. I don't see him selling insurance. I don't see him nursing anybody. Like Rex is he's a football player. He's a football coach, you know. So I mean, after a tough win, after a tough loss, let's say we had a tough loss, he's gonna come in, he's gonna try and corral the team. He's gonna harp on some of the BS that we did, but he's also gonna talk about some of the highlights, right? But then he's also gonna talk about he's also going to let everyone know, like, hey, if we just stick to the plans, just kind of lean on him, let him lead us, put everything on him, he'll lead us to the promised land. So as a leader, that was super important because we always know we can lean on him. He'd always take a brunt of the blame, like a big part of the blame. He's always going to put that on himself, but he's also going to say at the end of it, hey, get on my back, follow my lead. I'm going to lead y'all to the promised land. And he always says, see what the fuck happens. Let's just see what the fuck happens.
I love it.
Famous line. Yeah. See what the fuck happens. Do what I say, see what the fuck happens. You know?
So with Rex, and you see significant action as a rookie there. And then in 2015, you're released from the Jets. A day later, you're in my office learning how it is that you get paid. So the transition from, happens in camp, and you're there with OTAs, and you're hearing about, this is the Jets way, this is our culture, this is how it's going to be. And then so quickly you're with the Bills, hearing it all over. This is the Bills way, this is our culture. And I guess for you, what was great was you were coming back into a familiar situation, a familiar coach. So you were going to hear it all again. But what was that transition like to you? Because it probably happened pretty fast.
No, it happened really fast. It was different. Buffalo definitely wasn't on my radar. I never thought I'd ever be in Buffalo. But, when I got the call, I just said, you know what? It's another opportunity. It's great. It's going somewhere. Rex Ryan picked me up. He believed in me. I knew he always believed in me. So, it was great. And when I left, the coach for the Jets at the time, what's his name?
It was Bowles.
Coach Bowles.
Yeah.
He told me, he let me know. He said, IK, you'll probably get calls from 6 other teams, within 24, 48 hours. So just take it as a lesson and move forward and try and, improve on your career. So,
great.
But ultimately I knew that the transition was a big transition, but knowing that I was going there with Rex and Coach Weeks, Weeks was going to be my coach. It was a familiar territory. Coach
Jeff Weeks, that's right. They were
Brent Barr.
Jason Vrabel, I think, Rebrovich. A bunch
Yeah.
of guys came over from the
Yeah.
Jets the previous year.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, so everyone's familiar faces, just different colors.
Rex had to love you, right? Just you can tell even from an interview here how much you have passion and you care and you give a shit. Like I can imagine you're a Rex guy. I could see it, right? Like he had to just love you, even just personally, not even as a player, but just personally. Like you just strike me as like a Rex guy.
Yeah, the most definitely.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you kind of talk us through the year here in Buffalo and maybe off the field? Did you enjoy it here? What are your memories of being around in the community and the fans, and everybody always obviously talks about Bills Mafia and all that. Like what did you enjoy, and maybe something you didn't enjoy about Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, it took some getting used to. Coming from Texas and just being from the South and going to North, it was just a night and day. But one of my good friends, Randall Johnson, he was a linebacker for the Bills. Me and him, I've known him since college, right? So
Miami, right?
What was that?
Was he at Miami?
Yeah. He went to FAU. So he kind of took me in. He kind of showed me the ropes and whatnot. My initial thoughts when I came to Buffalo was just SMA, like just shaking my head, like damn, like there's nothing to do here. And I remember I talked to the I'm not gonna say her name. I talked to someone in staff, and I was like, "So what do people do in Buffalo?" They said, "Drink and have sex." That's it.
That sounds about right.
They eat too. They eat a lot.
And they eat.
They said, "Yeah, just drink and have sex." I was like, "Okay." Well,
and especially coming from the Jets in New York City, obviously you don't necessarily live in New York City, but it's the whole metro. What a culture shock that must have been. Did you feel in any way like, hey, it's all about football here? Like, was it at all?
at the Jets
in Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean that was the feeling I got. It was all about football. I mean, to me, I didn't see anything else. It was just all football, all sports. Yeah.
So 2015, your year here, the first of two, you play in London. So the Bills are playing in London again this year. I think you're the first person we've spoken with as a player since we've been doing this that actually played in that game. How different was the preparation? And then I hope you'll say it felt like an organized trip because I was part of that. And thank you, by the way, for not losing your passport like Jerry Hughes did. What was that all like for you?
It was cool. It was a great experience. It was a great experience. A lot of distractions. My eyes were wide open, just looking at everything. So, but it was a great experience. Ultimately, it was super organized.
Thank you. There, through the bone to Don. So IK, we really appreciate you coming on. Before we finish up, we do something called the 2-minute warning. Don, do you have another question before we go there?
I just wanted to make sure whether we do it before or after the 2-minute warning about what you're doing today. You and I reconnected on LinkedIn, and I know you're a professional. Yeah. So whether you say that now or afterwards, I just want to get that in.
Yeah, IK, I think people would want to know what are you up to today?
So I'm in the real estate development business, affordable housing. I work for a company called Sphinx Development as an analyst, and basically I underwrite and I analyze all our new opportunities for whether it's land or existing. My passion has always been real estate development, real estate. My grandfather was a real estate developer. I wanted to be an architect. But some things happened at Tech to where I wasn't able to make that happen. But, as soon as I got injured in Buffalo, and the first thing I did was get my real estate license. I bought property, and I just kind of been going down that road. When I retired, I started a business and just flipping homes and things like that. Do another thing called wholesaling. Obviously, we're buying and holding property for tenancies. But I always knew I wanted to be in real estate development, and took a leap of faith, and just been learning the ropes under a company now that has a great portfolio, and just doing really great things in the DFW market.
Good. Awesome. Are you active on social media? Do you have like a Twitter account or Facebook or?
I have social media. I'm not super active. I got my head down. I'm hustling. I'm just trying.
Good for you. Good for you. I kind of figured that answer. All right, we're gonna do this, IK. We're gonna do 2-minute warning, 10 questions. We try to keep it under 2 minutes. Just kind of fun, off the wall stuff to give people a look at your personality. Go ahead, Don.
Okay, what is your most interesting place to watch a Bills game, Jets game, or an NFL game?
Chili's.
Chili's. I like it. 3 people, dead or alive, you'd want to have dinner with.
My grandfather, he's dead, so I would like to have dinner with him. Who else? That's a great question.
I didn't text you that. I didn't text you that we were going to ask you this.
No, I'm gonna say Boosie. I want to have dinner with Boosie Badass. That's another one. And then who? Let me see another one. Odumegwu Ojukwu. He was our civil rights leader in Nigeria. That's another one I would love to have dinner with.
There you go. That's a perspective.
That is.
Where else are you going to get a perspective like that?
He's the first person to answer.
That's great.
Dan.
Okay, you are entering an arena. You're a big deal. Dry ice. What is your entrance song?
Ooh. Hold on. I'm entering an arena with dry ice.
Yeah. You know, there's the lights are down. There's some dry ice going. So you're entering like an MMA arena, and you're going to be in a fight. What's your entrance song?
Damn. I'm gonna go with a Kevin Gates song. I'm gonna go with. No, actually, let me scratch that. I'm going with Burna Boy. I'm going with Burna Boy, African Giant.
Okay,
All right.
people can look that up. What's your favorite NFL team right now?
I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Okay, fair enough. Back on the music front, what's the best concert you've ever seen?
I went to the Kentucky Derby. I went to a Kevin Gates and Boosie concert, and that's really the only concert I've ever been to in my life.
At the Kentucky Derby?
At the Kentucky Derby.
Was that what you expected? The Kentucky? I've heard it's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's
amazing.
great. Give me when your time here in Buffalo. Did you have a favorite restaurant, and what'd you get there?
I think it's called Dow's.
Oh yeah, the Japanese place.
The Japanese place. Yeah, I think
Yeah, my daughter's favorite place.
right across the street. Who put me on that? God dang, the center. What's the center?
Eric Wood.
Eric Wood.
Eric Wood was probably also at the Kentucky Derby. He lives in Louisville.
Was he?
Well, he lives there. I think he goes every year, but I know it's a lot of people there. So, let's see. This could be an interesting from your perspective. It's a popular food, but you hate it.
Popular food that I hate.
Yeah.
I mean, like raw sushi. I eat raw sushi. Everyone eats raw sushi. I don't do that.
Except for my wife, who would rather die than eat sushi. That's so you're in there with her. What is the most annoying fan base in the NFL?
Shit. The Cowboys.
Okay.
That's always the leader. That's always the
two
favorite.
in a row there. Yeah. Can you drive a stick shift vehicle?
Yes.
Cool.
All right, last one, and I think we're 50-50 here. You got 2 more. You go.
I have one. You go.
You go first, and then
sounds good. Your top 3 favorite sports movies, and then we got to end with yours, Josh.
My top 3 favorite sports movies.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans for sure. That's like number 1. Does Rocky count?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely Rocky. Man, give me some options. Give me some options.
Friday Night Lights is out there for you. Queued it up.
Yeah, we could fill in that blank. Friday Night Lights. You lived it, so yeah, it should be up there. So, all right.
No, I think there's something better, man. I think there's something better. I guess I'll go. I guess I'll default. I'll go Friday. I know there's something better though.
There you go.
Okay.
Last one here, IK. Can you sing us 10 seconds of the Louisiana Tech fight song?
Damn, I cannot.
All right, it's
That's
about
okay.
we're running cold these days.
Every single game.
That's all right. Once you get it, it's going to be in your head, and you're going to blame
Yeah.
Josh for that.
Yeah. You're gonna
After this.
you're gonna leave this and go on YouTube, and you're gonna be like, oh man, I should have remembered.
It's all right. I think it's probably 40% due. So you're in
You're in the majority
You're in the
of guys that
majority,
either
yeah.
can't, or there's a lot that won't
Yes.
sing their song. So
Yeah.
don't feel bad.
Yeah, but we got a ton out of this. Okay, your football journey, as we like to call it, is absolutely fascinating. The international aspect of it, and what you've done, and I'm really glad to hear what you're doing post career. You're getting after that just the way you got after football, and it's great talking with you.
Likewise, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day, buddy.
Thank you.
Take care.